Okay, so after running around like millions of times, fighting, like basically being attacked in New York City, not all the time, you know what I mean? It's just like being grew up as a street kid, and you grow up and you study, study economics, study Karl Marx, all of these things. But one of the things that you forget about is like your own tribe, right? Because as a New Yorican, I'm not a New Yorican, I'm a Puerto Rican born in Mocha. So there's a difference between a New Yorican and being born and bred in Puerto Rico. So I got attacked in New York City by an FBI agent, right, who happens to be part of secular society, that they're not part of the faith. Let's keep it like that, right? All right, so let's try to not make it too confusing because we need to go back and study this because this is what happened. That when it's secular society, it's a clash of civilization, right? So, right, you have Demis and non-Muslims, right, and then they're not reformed to being Muslims. Then that's kind of like another form of civilization, right? They have their own civilization. The Jews have their own civilization. Israel is a Jewish civilization. Christianity has its own Holy Roman empires. So let's go back into this concept. I'll try to do this as quick as possible. The clash of civilization, where it forms, it formulates, because as people think that one sucker punch doesn't mean shit by the federalist FBI agent, it really means a lot because the Federalists are a civilization, right? They're a banking civilization, and people don't really take that into concept, but that's what Karl Marx was talking about in regards to the clash of civilization. So let's go back really into this depth perspective. Why is it China being rejected as a civilization? Because they're too authoritative. They place, restrictions on Muslims and so forth. So yes, and their people and their People's Republic, right? So there's in the letter of P and their republic. So I try to do this so that there won't be no restraints on me. I'm an autonomous. This is my provincia. I'm a patriarch. Allah's my Lord. He's my sovereign Lord. I don't want people to come and send me swords or fight against me because this is my little civilization, my little world. I have a little world. My little world walks and it, bumps into Adam that's Christ, or bumps into an Adam that's a pagan, bumps into an Adam that's an altar, and I gotta move all those beams out of my way. But let's go back and simplify this. So, okay, clash of civilization, right? So if you think about culture versus civilization, right? So reggaeton contra matraquia, right? That means that there's just women who basically are equal with men, but they rule the society. So reggaeton is more like male alpha. They're more liberal, secular, and there are the alpha of secularism, right? Because you see women, dancing, kissing each other. Hey, life is great. I gotta throw it in there, don't I? But anyways, so let's go back to monarchs and territory. So clash of civilization. There was this hemisphere of like monarchs and territory, and then below that is expansion, nation state, because the monarchs try to control, different territories, but then they had to separate them and kind of make nation states. And then they made rather than princes. So instead of appointing a prince, like, oh, you govern over here, you govern San Sebastian, you go over there and govern Bayamon, right? So instead of doing that, they built nation states, right? So that's okay. So let's leave it at that. Let's keep it simple. All right. So now, So now there's the versus part. So the versus is like conflicts of ideology, right? So there's reggaetoneros who are not like there's for secular, but they're like Muslim. They're believers. So that's kind of like conflicts of ideology. Now, the clash of civilization means that that was that was the before and this is the after. This is like modernity, right? So conflicts of ideology is modernity. Economics is modernity, right? Because no longer the king controls the mechanisms of labor, productivity, etc. So, the economy became okay. We're not going to put culture because culture. We're not going to make it too much of a debacle. We're going to keep this conversation in simplicity because then you go into the depths of it. You have to go into the depths of it because I can't do it on my own. I get attacked spiritually. I get attacked differently. So, okay, so it's economic. Then it's cultural, right? So So as class of civilization, you have the past, which was the queen and the king, right? So they rule over different hemispheres and so forth. Then below, the modernity is like conflicts of ideology. As I explained, reggaeton going against metrarquia, right? Because metrarquia is a civilization of women who are rulers, and then the conflicts of ideology is that reggaeton don't want that. They want straight up party. They want a party civilization. They don't want a strict civilization where women tell them rule them and they can't have more than one liaisons or more than one female. So the the Tainos had two are chieftains, so they had two wives. So Mitrakia is far beyond the actual original indigenous Tainos. Excuse me, I just had this there from eating a donut. So let's go back to this, right? So it's economical, and then we got cultural, right? So it's fascinating. Okay, so we have cultural war, as I explained, reggaeton, metroque. Let's keep it simple. Multi civilization. So what they're saying is that so that's the past. The British Queen is the past, and the French kings that they're on their little island over there. And then there's the Illuminati on the other side. So they're like the past, right? So that's multi civilization, right? Hey, we're here, we still exist. We can just try to lay siege to your wall and climb over your wall with grapples and throw have guys hammer your door, your wooden door. We break in there with some iron and beat things down. But that's predominantly what it is and what is happening in Puerto Rico. Is happening. It's a transient kind of like clash of civilization, right? Chile's trying to build the civilization Puerto Rico has. Puerto Rico tries to expand it to the diaspora, and you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're just walking as a citizen, walking around, and people are building civilizations around you. You just don't know it. And if you get caught off guard, then you may get locked up, incarcerated, snared, and entrapped.